Good morning. It's Sunday morning. It's 9 o'clock, and this is Norma Cowie, and I welcome Leroy. Usually on a Sunday morning, I do talk sort of based on the topic of a Sunday thought. And I've contemplated this for quite a while, and I'm changing the topic. The topic is, are you aware? And today we're going to talk about, or I'm going to talk about, trustingly, you're going to listen, is that about your thinking, about just the thoughts that you have, because the thoughts that you have create your vibration. Your vibration as you're going through life attracts. So, you hear a lot about thinking positive, thinking negative. Are you a negative thinker? Are you a positive thinker, etc.? But the reality is, whatever it is that you're thinking builds up to you might say, like a radio wave. And then what that radio wave is, or as we hear, attracts what you've been thinking. And a lot of people forget that. It's one of the first things that on my metaphysical journey that I really got drummed into me. And there are times when I forget about it. I kind of get down a little bit more depressed, and my thoughts aren't as clean and clear about what my goals are. People often forget their goals. What are their goals? And usually I spend New Year's Day looking and thinking about what I want to occur in the upcoming year. Then I may not always look back and see what I've decided I wanted. But the key is to get your thinking in alignment, because that is what attracts. That is the bottom line. And yes, a lot of us go on about our thought patterns and how they're doing and what are we creating and what's all that going on. But the real truth of it is, you need to have your thinking in alignment in order for you to move in the direction of where you want to go. It's so easy to slip into being judgmental. There's a big one. A lot of people have lots of judgments. I do myself sometimes. I've been watching some tennis, and there was one tennis player I had a lot of judgment about because of actions that it was a female, that I'd seen her do a few years ago. And I realized after yesterday, I needed to change my perspective and do some forgiveness work for myself for judging, number one. And number two is to recognize people go through things and they act or say or do things, of which I have done. I'm known for that, not thinking. But it's like, really, the main thing is what your vibration is what it will attract. What will it bring to you? If your life is not working the way you want it to work, number one is you check your thoughts. Your thoughts create this tone. It's like on a piano, of which I don't play, by the way. I had a very short life with learning how to play a piano. But it's like when you press a key, let's say C right in the beginning, in the middle. It has a note, it has a tone. And yes, you can make beautiful music using these different keys. And that's like life. You can make beautiful music if the thinking is effective. Do you have goals? Do you ensure that your thought patterns towards those goals? Are you sure that your thinking is not putting other people down? Are you thinking, because now, are we paragons of virtue? No, we're human beings. We make mistakes, and especially with our thinking, because we often are judgmental. And in our world, there is a lot of judgment. And it's really, I'm not saying it's easy to clear that totally out of your system, because you're around it, you're in it, it's being bombarded at you. Maybe you're not this, you're not that, you're not the other. It's very easy to move into that kind of thinking. So let's think of that as going out. I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not the other. What do you think that's attracting? Situations in your life to prove that's correct. And this is where people sometimes get hung up on changing their lives. Over the years, I've had to do a lot with that, with students, having them see the thoughts that they have go out as a vibration to attract that which is coming back. And when a situation does come up, sometimes it's hard to believe, well, how could I have created that? But it may be that you didn't create it, but it's crossed your path, and it's how you respond to it. How do you choose to respond? How do you choose to be? I often use these little cards from the God box because I find that sayings are just so accurate. So today, when I was looking, sometimes because it helps me to stay on track, this one is like a doctor with a stethoscope when he's listening to his heart. And he said, I trust my higher self. I listen with love to my inner voice. And that's the important element. We do have an inner voice. Some people can't find it. Sometimes I have massive conversations with myself because there's many divisions within me about this or that or the other. And so, over the years, I can tell you it's been an absolute amazing how many parts I could play in my head. But all of those parts, all of that different thinking goes out for my vibration. So when things in life is not quite working the way I want, I've learned, check how you're thinking, because we slip. When I talk about slip, we become more negative or we become more judgmental. Judgment is rampant in thinking patterns often. They're not perfect. Well, are we perfect? When? Now, on this particular symbol, as I said, I trust my higher self. I listen with love to my inner voice. Number one, we must love ourselves. We must accept ourselves for who we are, love ourselves, and decide if there's anything that we need to change in order to create the life that we want to achieve or to have or to be. All of these things are very, very important. Now, on the other side of this particular little card, it says, within every problem lie the seeds of its own solution. I sometimes speak without thinking. Unfortunately, that's very true. It just comes out of my mouth. Now that's perfect when I'm reading for somebody or I'm doing some other psychic work and I'm tuned in, but in general life, very often, and I can speak with quite an emphatic tone about it, is not always effective for relationships because people have feelings and they're sensitive. And I've always been sensitive in my life, but it's like recognizing what the thoughts are doing in the bigger picture. And that's what I find very often we're not taught and we forget. Your basic thinking that you have, setting the tone, is like going to bed at night and people would say their prayers were saved. I always think of just raising my thoughts higher. Getting up in the morning and setting the tone for the day, thinking, setting that vibration that is going to be where you want to be. The key is to be aware. And if you're not feeling really good, just sit back and watch your thoughts ticker tape across the mind, because they do. They just don't go bopping out. There's usually a connection with your feelings. I find feelings and thoughts go together quite strongly. If you're upset about something, your thoughts sometimes come down more judgmentally or angry. And we're not saying that being angry is incorrect. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we want to temper it to make sure that it's effective. So everything in your life is working effectively. So are you aware of that? Are you aware that thoughts are important? Very, very important. They're the basis because that's what you're doing all the time. I mean, if you're awake. If you sleep, you may have funny dreams, and sometimes that's because your thoughts are going there. But it's really a being aware of what you want. So that goes back to goal setting, which is not really what I'm talking about, but it's part of it. Do you know what you want? Do you know how you want your life to go? Do you know how you want? Now, there's a whole lot of vibrations about that, and we'll probably address those as the day goes by, because we can be so intent on a goal that we actually don't ever create it. It's funny how life works that way. We tend to think that all the energy we can put in, that's going to bring it about, and sometimes it doesn't. How come? That's what we want to come aware of. So I'm going to invite you Sunday mornings to listen to my Are You Aware? And we're going to see where it goes. And if it doesn't go anywhere, we'll go back to a Sunday thought. But I was feeling a little hemmed in with that title. So I wanted to expand it, and it's been on my mind for some time. I may also make little shorts throughout with that topic. I want you to have a great day today. We've got loads of smoke in our area here from the fires that have come up lately, and I got a really nice picture of the sun going down, and it was quite interesting because of the smoke had sort of blurred it out in a little bit. But anyway, life is good. Enjoy. Remember to be thankful. I have talked a lot about it, but the power of the thank you is very good. And maybe that'll be some topic for next week. In the meantime, you have a great week. I hope I see you at Mental Mind Treatments tomorrow night. And we had a lot of people last week. And that's quite all right. I'm very happy for that. And truly, Leroy, thank you so much for your support, and everyone else that is on and that is going to watch. Just remember, you are your thought. So you want it to make sure you're thinking in relation to what it is that you specifically want. Have a great day. Enjoy. Bye now.